So from a very early age, people were talking to me about Ironman, and people were saying, oh, you're going to be Ironman World Champion one day. And I kind of naturally believed that, never really questioning it until I actually won the World Champs. I race Ironman because I think it's a very complete and honest sport, and I think to reach the highest level as an Ironman athlete, you have to be a very complete human. It's a picture of peak health.
I don't know if you can ever feel like fully prepared for an Ironman and like rearing ready to go. I've only done 2 Ironmans, and in my mind, when I think of like a typical Ironman build and like feeling fully prepared on the start line, I knew I was severely undercooked each time I lined up to the start line. But I also feel like that's part of triathlon and part of Ironman too.
The start of the year was very difficult for me health-wise and struggling to pinpoint what it was, and I think we've managed to put a bit of a finger on that. And I actually had a good 4 months which were very difficult, very low volume, so you can't just get straight back to training. It's not like a 3-week injury. It was proper lost fitness.
Since Kona, it was very, very difficult to find out what sort of issues he actually has, what's actually happening to the body, and it was very, very odd.
I genuinely think it's just his body kind of going, oh, we just need a bit of time. We didn't win Kona, and you promised me a more relaxing year, and now we need to, I need to reset and kind of go again.
So 2025 is really to get Sam back racing from now, but leading up to Nice, and then sort of actually really get his underlying health up to a level that is acceptable.
I love lining up, I love racing, and you just can't do that as much. Like, I'll get 2 chances this year, hopefully, to do a good Ironman, and I already bombed 1, so. The lesson is that a lot of the tools that I have won't be appropriate and relevant. And so I'm going to need to learn new tools, because this is a new distance. It's like, yes, it's swim, bike, and run, but it's kind of a different sport in a lot of ways.
It's very easy when you hit a low to question what you're not doing right and to make changes. And the lower you are, the more you doubt everything, and the more you want to deviate off that path. And I think the best athletes, entrepreneurs, or most successful people have always just stayed and believed, and okay, they might adapt some things, but they're never fully changing and going away from what they initially planned. I've thought about quitting many times. What stopped me is probably almost different every time. I remember when I moved back home, I had this conversation with my mum because I wasn't happy doing what I was doing, and she trusted me and trusted the project, and showed me that is what I wanted to do, and that is what brought me joy. If you told me that to win Kona, it's like set in stone to just train 60 hours a week and live on the top of a mountain and like a monk and do yoga 5 times a day and drink your own urine, I'd probably do it. I'll be on the start line at the World Championships if there is even a 0.01% chance of me winning, because anything can happen in Ironman.
So when things are down, Sam predominantly will we sit down and have a chat and try and understand what's actually happening from his perspective. He'll go and sit in the river down here with his girlfriend and spend quality time and actually try and look at the bigger picture of life itself, more than just sort of looking at the racing side of it. And I think it's important that as Sam develops and gets older, he'll actually understand that more. It's not just about sort of this race coming up, it's actually a bigger picture and what he's actually achieved and what his whole picture is going to be.
There are a lot of races where I just want to stop, but you keep going.
Why?
You don't give yourself that option. Ironman Texas definitely made me question if this race distance and format and everything suits me, and if I want to do it. Because I think that was a lot of the conversations I had after Ironman Texas was, do I want to keep doing this distance?
Ironman Leeds is a course that there isn't really anywhere else on the pro circuit right now. It's going to be a very long day, probably an hour longer than most Ironmans, or than a flat Ironman, let's say. There's definitely a lot of uncertainties that always is in Ironman and triathlon in general. My goal is to be in control as much as possible, to maybe be a bit more conservative. I still want to win here, but the main goal is to validate my slot for the World Championships, to be able to go to Nice again, because I haven't yet validated that slot, having had the issues I had at the start of the year. You go into it knowing that there's going to be moments where you feel like quitting, That's just part of it. Even when, for me, for instance, I was leading the whole day and had the fastest splits across the board, there's still moments that are really, really hard.
Texas is the default because I don't want to fly to New Zealand or Australia or Europe to do an Ironman. If I have to, I have to, because I might bite my words.
He is your Ironman champion for today, Sam Laidlow.
And I could feel that I could push my body. That is more of an emotional win for me than the victory itself.
We had two females clearly breaking away. Rachel Zlinkas led out with Taylor Knibb on her feet. Knibb was super excited for this race. It's just her second Ironman after her debut in Kona in 2023. Knibb looking super controlled, super dialed in out there. The scary thing is she said she eased off a little bit in the back half of this bike and still went on to get a world's best bike course. Knibb finished in second, securing her Kona slot.
I achieved what I needed to achieve in Texas, but it wasn't like, I'm not like super thrilled with my performance. I can't stop.